You know what time it is. It's time to pour yourself a drink. I don't care if it's top shelf, bottom shelf, or you made it in the bathtub. It's time for another edition of Off the Wall.
Okay, well, that answered my question. Meanwhile, Jessica needs to fucking rub one out right now.
And Jessica can contest to this. There's been some ugly dicks.
Yeah.
There's some ugly dicks.
There's some ugly dicks. Like, this one was gorgeous.
And they're like, what are you staring at? You're like, just shut up. Just
let me suck on it.
Yeah,
Just-
yes, please.
Just shut up and put it in my mouth, damn it.
Yeah.
Somewhere in my body, just put it in. I don't care.
Not my ear, I'm not into that. Or my belly button, but...
I actually, my hair, my belly button, my ass, my vagina, my mouth, just get it inside of me.
Wow.
Tell
All
you-
right.
Dirty whore!
tell you-
She just
the-
reached dirty
No,
whore!
I tell you, that's why I speak about my Lily in third person, because sometimes she runs the fucking shit and you're just along for the ride.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is
And
I
you
knew
become the
because
devil
of,
because you're like, oh, yeah.
because of the business that I was in, I protected a lot of porn stars and adult actresses, I guess you could say. They had labia surgery. Like, they full on got the plastic surgery for their...
What do they call that? Vaginal rejuvenation, I think.
I don't know, but actually I think labia is something. Like,
Now-
I know that, like, that's a...
Reconstructive
Yeah.
surgery.
No, I haven't seen enough to just go yay or nay, but I guess I don't understand what an ugly vajayjay is. I guess. I don't know what that means.
Are we really having this conversation?
Well, do we have some news for you?
Yeah, please. Yeah, I guess I don't
Oh wait,
have enough experience in that.
One.
I know that.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Oh, Jess!
I do know that casting directors in the adult. Okay, if anybody gives me any shit about how I know this, we know how I know about it, so don't give me any shit about it. But I do know that the casting directors in the adult entertainment industry base some things on looks, and I know for women that
Say the AC's on.
oh shit. Damn it. Are we gonna lose that because of that?
Nah.
All right.
I'll make it work.
There we go. We had to turn off the air conditioning. But like, there's a fetish for everything.
Oh, yeah.
And the one thing that I learned, or I basically listened from a casting director in the adult entertainment field, was that you don't want an ugly apparatus. And so if they're going to do some, we call it the dark side, some anal photography or something along those lines, that out of the top 5, 3 of them were women and 2 of them were trannies. They had beautiful,
Buttholes.
butts. Yes. Yeah, there we go. Buttholes right there. Thank you for throwing that out at me. I'm really glad that you did that, Jessica.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jay. And you have just really come into one of the weirdest openings for Off the Wall. I am here with producer Marcus.
What's up?
Looking good as always. What are we drinking today, Marcus? I am drinking Smirnoff Smash. Just the fact that we were talking
I was
about
going to
sex.
say, talk about playing words.
I'm going to smash some
No,
Smirnoff.
I'm enjoying a good old twisted tea.
Twisted tea?
It's kind of my thing.
And we're also here with who was going to be just a one-time guest, who's now a regular personality, Jessica motherfucking Johnson.
Hello.
And then we have the beautiful Gemma. I look like Gemma from Sons of Anarchy, Gemma Lee. You are the owner and CEO of Studio OD 406.
You're too kind. You're making my head big.
Well, you make mine big too, since that's what subject that we're on. Anyway, so, talking about the AVI awards. Anyway, so when
Dirty
they
whore.
fuck, man, I didn't start this.
I think we can
conversation.
all agree we're all dirty whores at this
At
point.
this point, everybody's like won the Dirty Whore
Yeah.
Award.
Yep.
But so yeah, when they cast for certain body parts, everybody has certain body parts, and evidently, the guy that has like the most beautiful penis right now is some 20-year-old guy from Central America, and evidently, the guy's skinny, doesn't have a body, nothing, but this like dude takes 10 inches to a whole new level, and but that's who they want. But I'd be hard pressed if you were a woman and like, we want to take this picture, and here's this little 110-year-old woman. We want this anal insertion picture, and here comes this guy. She'd be like, no, you are not putting that anywhere near me.
Do you
I'm
know?
just saying.
No.
What the fuck was that? Oh my god.
Jessica,
Hearing,
if I
all I
would've
have to
known
say is
you
just imagine
a
hearing
long
that
time
through
ago,
the
I would
headphones.
have brought you
I
with
feel
me.
a little wrong right
Feel a little
now.
got it around
So-
so anyway.
I went to a romance party once,
Oh god, here we go.
and my friend was out it, and they had pencils with little baby dicks on them, right? And they were,
I've been to one.
you know what I'm
Meanwhile, Marcus and I are over here feeling very uncomfortable with our little penises.
So, I'm sorry if I don't make eye contact with you, but I'm going to talk to Jessica for a
Oh,
second.
no, that's hot. I rented that movie in
So-
college.
So we were trying products, right?
Oh, fuck.
On each other or yourselves?
Yeah,
What they do is they go, your left arm
I
is
think
for sniffing, your right arm is for licking.
Is this real?
Oh, vice versa.
Oh, this is
Yes.
And then there's like,
Yeah. Do not mix the two. It is very
'cause there's
horrible.
edible stuff.
Yes. And there's numbing
And
stuff.
it's really
So
tasty.
yes, right?
Tasty.
So
Oh.
they have this squirt thing that you can.
Ladies and
It's
gentlemen, you can't see this, but Marcus and I are looking at you like, this is really fucking happening.
so they made.
This is...
they
Ladies
make
and gentlemen, this
squirt
episode
stuff.
has been brought to you by Pornhub.
And
NXvideos.com.
Adam and Eve and-
Oh my god.
and pure romance parties. So
The best dildos are from Fun Factory.
yes. Yes.
Okay,
And
honestly
the more
though,
ice
I
ones.
don't even,
Anyways,
you know,
isn't
Marcus
a
and I were
dildo
like,
just a
hold on.
dildo?
So anyways, hold on.
They're all the
Side
same.
note. So they have this spray stuff. It's numbing stuff, and it also can be used for anal, and it also can be used to help throat better because the gag reflex, right? So we spray this in our mouth, and that's what everybody did. And they're like, so use your pencil and you try it. And these two people
I'm handing Marcus a shot of vodka
are
right now.
now you don't know what comes out in these parties.
No,
because there's
obviously
wine
we don't.
And alcohol.
Obviously,
There
Marcus
is
and I
some wine
have
and
no
alcohol.
idea what
So-
comes out.
At this
got
point,
your
I don't know if I
pencil,
want to
right?
know.
You've got
Happy girl.
pencil. Yes. So you've got this pencil
Oh
with a
my
baby
God.
dick eraser, right? That's a rubber thing. She's just like, go ahead, and if you may like, you don't have to, and you put it in your throat and see. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm like, huh? I'm like, whoa! That fucking works! And all the women are laughing, and everybody starts doing it, and all you see is these women, like, man,
Can we get
yeah,
an
I
AVN
don't
award
gag.
for this American Video, the whatever the AVNs or. You know,
And
the,
here was these two women that we didn't know that they were closet lesbians, and when the alcohol came out, holy
Oh, they
shit.
let it go.
They let it go, and they were the party.
Really?
You find some shit
When
out
aren't lesbians the party though? Can we be honest? I've
I
never
didn't-
met a woman that was a lesbian that like didn't make everything funner.
there. I only
Yeah.
knew maybe two people in that room. You'll know everybody by the time you're done.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
everybody's
So,
on the same
so
page.
I'm with Marcus on this. Do you know them or do you know them?
Like-
because
No.
I
Well,
mean,
no.
It's not like that.
It's- no,
It's
no.
like the romance parties are like a lot of fun. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like we're a whole bunch of women who like have pent up things that we don't talk about sex as much as men do. We don't talk about our vajayjays. Like, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, here, let's talk about all the things that are going through your head 90% of the day.
Yeah.
so I
Have
got.
fun.
You know what? I'm gonna attack the white
And
elephant
it's
in
cool
the room.
questions you can ask the person that's putting on the show, and she's not some dumb bimbo.
Yeah.
She's, hey, if you want to do this, there's these, and there's.
She's a
books, and-
professional.
Yeah.
Well, I
oh,
wouldn't say a
geez.
sex therapist, but that's going a little bit too far.
But so okay, I'm gonna ask. I want to attack the white elephant in the room. So, does any woman like grab one of these things, going,
okay, grab
"I'll be
what?
right back,"
You just
a
specify.
toy, and be like, "I want to see if this."
No.
No. No,
No.
it's not like that at all.
I don't know. I mean, shit.
Okay, now
I can't speak for a woman. I never was
this is
one.
not a
Not like-
freaking orgy.
Yeah, and
It
it's
is
not.
Go
Well,
ahead, Jess.
and now I'm so disappointed.
It's not like you go to Target and you try on a dress and well, this one doesn't work for me. It's
Well, that's what I was actually asking.
So
I'm
do you just
curious.
figure out how to
feel 'em
make
and
each
play
one
with
work
'em?
then? Or
Okay,
man.
guys, there's a display table with some products on. That's why you have left is for sniffing and
And the
right is for
majority of these
licking.
women are married too, usually, right?
that's why they need
depends.
this stuff.
So I got to ask another question. We're talking about your romance party.
Yes,
Were they lipstick lesbians or were they a
They
little
were
bit rough?
they. Were
I'm sorry,
beautiful
lesbian
women.
community, if I said that. You know who
They
you
were
are.
just-
It just
no,
I'm just
We
curious.
didn't know they were lesbians.
Because lipstick lesbians don't know. Like they're like the boss
There
at
were
work and they're
older
gorgeous.
women
And you're
there.
like, oh yeah, I have a woman. Like wait, what?
There were older women there, and
Really?
from older women like 60s to us, we were what 20.
Late 20s, type
Yeah,
deal?
yeah, mid 20s. I mean, I think you have to be a certain age to go to one of those.
Marcus, let me holler at
But
you. We don't have these parties. Why? I'm just trying to like.
now
This
it would be
sounds
very
like some
interesting.
fuckery,
Okay, would you? And it was for everybody. It wasn't just female. It's just
Well-
men don't like to go to one.
well, and I mean like
And I don't know why. Because it would be so beneficial for a single male or female, to just, regardless, it's for everybody. But men don't like to go. And
I just
don't
feel
know
like
why.
so many like sex toys and things are more for women than for men, so guys just get used to just having what they have and just rolling with it.
I mean,
That's
I mean,
fair.
like seriously, the only
hand
sex
lotion
toy
in
that
your
I can
left
think
hand
of is a
is,
cock ring.
I mean,
Other than that, like what other toys are meant for guys?
Well, I'm not just saying that. Like maybe someone would like to buy something for their wife, or
Right.
their girlfriend,
Right.
or they would like to just explore and learn on how to treat your
Fair
partner,
enough. Fair enough.
male or female.
no, that
I got it.
wow.
That
Jamie
makes
said
sense.
So
you
I
get
don't
all
I don't know
serious
why
on us
men and
like-
I coax men.
All I
come
can
on,
think
let's
of when you
go,
say
but-
pure romance is
they
just a
don't.
table full of fucking dildos. That's all I can think
That's
of.
kind of how I.
and
yeah,
and,
I
and,
mean,
and it's full of products, and
Yeah.
that's why you have a pencil, and they give you like you can purchase stuff from them
Well,
from a
that's-
book.
So,
So
and
it's-
then okay, so then basically
It's
you
just
get
a fun. It's kind of like a wine tasting party, but you're not trying the toys.
Speaking
you're
of
just
tasting.
talking about them.
I was part of a very cool situation last night.
Yeah, Scotch, wasn't it?
I was on a. Marcus and I were just talking about it before we were doing the show. I was on a virtual Scotch tasting test, and I guess they do virtual because Marcus and I like wine. Well, okay, Marcus and I like anything that has booze in it. I'm just gonna call that what it is. But we try to pretend that
Are
we're
you a
refined
Scotch
every now
person?
and then. But
Maybe in there.
so this birthday party I was part of, and I'm going to talk about this. They're not a sponsor. It's called RaiseYourSpirits.com. It's one of the coolest experiences that I've ever had. Like when a
I
friend
like
of
that
mine,
name.
when a friend of
That
mine
is
from
pretty
years
cool,
ago,
pretty catchy.
it was a friend of mine from years ago. I stayed very very close with him. He was actually, ironically enough, he is the reason that I am a published author. Like he's the
I didn't
reason.
know that.
Yeah, Alex is the reason. But his wife said, "Hey, I'm doing a birthday party for my husband. It's very special. We're gonna send out some Scotch tasting. We're gonna have a virtual Scotch tasting." Now, Jamie can attest to this. I went to the liquor store. I was gonna buy him some shooters too, because it's very hard to ship alcohol. It can be illegal in some situations, a lot of situations actually. And I was gonna send him some stuff.
It's a
So
no-no,
I'm
but-
thinking that he's sending me some shooters through this company. And what I assumed it was going to be is that we were just going to be a bunch of guys getting on like a Zoom or Skype or something like that, and we're going to like have a couple shooters, woo, party, bro. It wasn't that. So I get a box. Marcus, you saw it before. the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
I get a box before on Thursday, and it's like $600 worth of like super expensive Scotch, full bottles, big box. And Jamie's opened up the box with me. And she's like, "You are not sending. You're not. Are you guys like getting it on over there? What are you doing?"
I was gonna say, I feel like there's some sexual tension in the room right
I
now.
was like,
Pillow.
I tried to
and-
make a transition. Obviously, that did not work very well at all.
I was doing the pillow because she was using it as an armrest.
You
and
know,
I was
it's
like,
a genius to use
wait a
the pillow
minute.
as an armrest.
And then I was
and we
like,
had pillows
Junior,
out
they're
here.
hiding their
There was all
boners.
kinks
And
Is
we're,
what's
not,
happening.
and we're not on a podcast,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
on a
you are
podcast,
right.
so it sounds
She
so
knew I-
horrible.
Sorry.
No.
Oh my
My
god!
The only times I've used a pillow to hide my boner, I mean, like, let's be honest.
Like 80%, I hide morning wood with my freaking pillow. Anyway, if you get a chance, go to raiseyourspirits.com. It was one of the greatest party experiences I've ever had. We had several $100s worth of scotch, and it was a great way for us to hang out. So try them. They're not a sponsor. Anybody that we talk about, they're not official sponsors. These are just people that we love and what have you. And how do we get the ducking on?
Well, I mean, like, we were going to talk about dating on the set and stuff.
here's
So,
the thing,
like,
yeah.
well, because the funny thing of it is for those of you in podcast land, Marcus is in a committed relationship. Hot, beautiful Portuguese man. He is. Oh, let's just call it what it is. Jamie and I are, but then, so all of us are in a couple or throuple, except for Jessica,
Yes.
who has come out of a.
she's the
how long-
adventurous one.
Yes. How long were you?
Yeah.
You were married for.
I was married for almost 15 years
15
and in
years?
a relationship for 19.
19. So we are now literally
How old were
dating.
you?
I was 16.
Holy
The last time I
shit.
was single, I was 16.
So you are literally back in the game in your 30s.
Yeah, mid
Fuck,
30s.
Mid 30s.
Has
I
the
would have
game
to say it.
changed?
Game has changed a lot. And let me just say, back when I was 16, like, I had to, like, throw the, like, no to the guys. And now I'm like, here I am with baggage and luggage with children and an ex-husband and rolls and saggy tits and
Oh, Jess.
Jesus.
Come on, Jess.
I mean,
You're
they're not
so hard on
actually
yourself.
they're
Okay.
not that bad.
Okay.
Like, my tits are great. I'm just gonna
Jess,
be honest.
And you know what? And I will vouch for that. You got great boobs. You know, because
Thanks.
they were part of one of your characters that you worked for Jamie.
Uh-huh.
So what I will say to you is Jamie and I saw a picture of her when you were 18.
Mm-hmm.
We would have banged you. Like, holy shit. Like, you were like prom queen.
I was pretty hot, yeah.
Okay, well, not a lot's changed. So we're trying to let everybody out there know, just because you show up,
That
because
Jessica is free.
yes,
for the
Jessica is
taking.
single.
I
Chris
feel like-
Helmsworth, if you're looking, just
Oh,
throwing
yeah.
it out there.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can contact me anytime, Chris. But I'm just like, after my last experience with this last week, I think I'm just gonna be like, okay, with just hanging out by myself.
What experience
So
would you
okay,
be
so
talking
hold
about,
on.
Jess?
So we obviously, Marcus and Jamie and I, we don't date. Well, Jamie and I did date
Once in a while.
but that's because of who we are. But anyway,
Yeah.
so we kind of date through you. So, would you like to tell the story of your week?
Oh. Yes. So there was this guy, I went on a date with him like months ago.
Now, we talked about this guy in other shows.
No.
This isn't.
This is a new guy.
This isn't.
Let's just call this guy Breakfast, okay? He slid into my DMs. I
Oh my
met him at a
God.
comedy thing a while ago. And he just talked about breakfast. And everybody's like, well, he's probably wanting to make you breakfast in the morning, wink, wink. And I'm like, oh, it's probably what was happening. And then, like, I go on a date with him, and then he talks about breakfast again. And I'm like,
Oh.
nah, I think he just really likes breakfast. like, that's
Lord.
just his MO. So
Okay, so like before, because Chris and I are like
This
this,
is
like,
way before she
but like,
met.
so if he
Basement.
likes breakfast, are you talking like he likes you for breakfast, like he's a morning sex person, or
no,
he's,
I'm talking like he was talking
He
about
wants, like-
making eggs and hash browns.
oh
and
shit,
stuff.
okay, well that just
Like he likes breakfast, like in the literal sense. Like breakfast is his thing.
oh god.
So, like, what about lunch and dinner?
No, I
Yeah, does he burn out? Does he burn out after 10 o'clock?
Wait, dinner is coming.
Oh,
Oh,
Ooh,
I
I can't wait for
yeah.
dessert.
no, wait, there's a joke.
Oh God.
I got into an argument him about like how dinner's so much better and how much more versatile dinner is than breakfast. Like the first time we talked, and so like,
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a code word for sex. Just so
Quiet.
you know.
it's actual real talking
Person.
about dinner. So anyways, the date happened, and afterwards, I'm like, I can just be friends with you. I don't want to do anything else.
Did you call him breakfast or did you call him by his
I call him by his real name. I call him by. I mostly just say like, "Hey, you." So I call him. So, anyways, he asked if I want to go have lunch as friends, and I'm like, "Sure, let's go have lunch." So we go to lunch at this random place, little tiny place in Billings. And so there's this guy that I really like that I haven't, like, where you're just friends and other stuff happens.
Is this basement guy?
This is Basement Boy, yes.
I think she's totally cool without using it now because, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, we're just friends. And so I go out to lunch, and random time, random place, Sunday afternoon. And breakfast is like, I really like you, want to make out during lunch. So I'm put at this place where I'm like, I just want to be friends, and like, already like in this awkward place, like, fuck, what do I've already.
Jessica, I gotta ask a question. Like, is he like in his 30s too?
Yeah.
Who asks, like, do you want to make out? Like, I mean.
Breakfast.
Okay, breakfast.
And they're just breakfast and her are just friends
At this point.
At this point, and she's already done her thing with Basement Boy, so now she is stuck in the middle of this conundrum.
Okay, we don't know. Okay,
A
so
conundrum between lunch and breakfast.
okay.
Can we just call it brunch and just move on? Come on.
That would be a threesome. Anyway.
So I'm sitting there, and like I'm already having this awkward moment with breakfast, and then I turn, like I look to the side of me, and there's Basement Boy. He got seated right next to me, so he's literally 6 feet away from me. 6 feet away
Well,
is Basement
at
Boy.
least you were social distancing. Sorry.
You're an asshole.
And I look over and my eyes turn into saucers. I look like a deer in the headlights. And he's like, Jessica, do you like this place? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do? Like, I'm like, should I introduce them? And I like had this internal monologue on like what I should do. And then I realized that my internal monologue on what I should do lasted way too long, and nothing happened. I just sat there twitching my foot and did absolutely nothing. Like, I don't even know, not even talking to breakfast, not talking to...
Lunch.
Basement Boy.
Basement Boy.
I'm
And then
gonna
here
call-
comes dinner.
No,
That bitch.
I'm dinner. Okay, so I'm dinner. We're having lunch. I'm at lunch with breakfast, and Basement Boy is dessert. Okay, so Basement Boy gets up and cancels his order and storms out. So dessert decided I needed to go on a diet. And now I'm on a diet and I don't have any dessert, and breakfast is still like there, like wanting me, and I don't like breakfast.
Now, I mean, like, at this point, you just gotta find like a midnight snack, and you'll be okay.
That's what Basement Boy was for.
Basement Boy
Okay,
was
he was the
dessert.
midnight snack. Okay.
Basement Boy was dessert. Now I need a midnight snack because Basement Boy was. I liked Basement Boy.
And she's still friends with his mother.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
I'm
gonna
still
say,
friends
wasn't
with
Basement
him.
Boy like
wait, I just
18, 19?
I just got Dion fucked up into what the hell? You're
I'm-
still friends with his mom?
Yeah, I hung out with her on Thursday night.
Okay, but for Basement Boy, I'm sure that was great. Cause like, what teenage boy doesn't have like some fantasy about like sleeping with one of their mom's friends or
Yeah, but
something?
he's not
Like,
a teenager. He's in his late 20s.
You know, he's
Oh.
in his mid-30s.
Yeah. Oh, it's even worse.
Oh.
Yeah, we're not talking. Yeah.
okay.
This isn't a Pornhub like stepmom fantasy, okay?
No,
Once
no.
again, this episode brought to you by Pornhub. Oh my
No,
God.
So that's
Yeah, this will be
my-
marked as explicit when we release it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's how my week went. If that's how my week went, And
suddenly dating through you, Jessica motherfucking Johnson, is not so much fun. I gotta be honest with you. It's just like,
no, it's not. It's like,
It sounds like a fucking adventure. Like,
it sounds like a goddamn movie on
I was gonna say,
Netflix.
speaking of directors, maybe we need to get James Cameron in on this shit.
yeah, half of the people we talked about in our last show
So,
could like
do you-
totally rap.
So, are you on the dick road, or are you just kind of like, I am done with men for a little while, or are you like?
I am just gonna not do anything for a while because I'm scared. I'm scared to touch anything, so I'm just
It's gonna blow the fuck up.
I'm just gonna be myself, by myself, and I
With
know how to
myself.
masturbate. I know how to masturbate.
Well, obviously we got done talking about these sex parties and the dildo platform, so
Yeah.
you're pretty good taken care of there.
Yeah, and
Wow.
yeah, I like I said, it was just a weird.
And we've already introduced this
Fucker.
show. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, so
We haven't even started our regular topics yet.
yeah, let's do
Are we,
that.
even, what are we talking about?
This
Something other than
truly is
porn?
off the wall.
This is off the wall for sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, Marcus, what do we want to talk about today?
The business.
Oh, that's right.
The
So
bid-ness.
you didn't
Not the
talk
porn
about
industry,
porn.
to clarify.
No.
Not the porn
different
industry.
business.
Oh. So how do we want to, like, what do we want to talk about in the business? Like, there's a lot
So
of routes we
the
can go.
career paths when starting out in the business, either acting, modeling, writing, comedy, directing, sound engineering,
Oof,
etc.
that's a long.
So are we talking like what we think would be the best path for somebody? Or just in general?
I think just in general, like your like thoughts of each kind of category.
Well, I mean, everybody here is like taking a completely different path. I mean,
So okay,
it's-
so
I'm gonna start by
your opinion on if you want to jump into the film industry, let's call it film or stage industry, as Jessica is in.
Okay, let's talk about. Are we talking about below the line or above the line?
What do you mean?
That's a Hollywood term. So if you're a below the line worker in Hollywood, I think it's a very disgusting.
It already sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's a if you're below the line, you don't eat with the actors, you don't eat with the talent at craft services. You're the gaffer, you're the boom guy, the sound guy. You are who works behind the line. You're below the line. You are everything from a gaffer to a wafter, and I'm not going to sit here and explain all those things to everybody, but they're pretty degrading. Not positions, because those positions have to happen.
Terms.
But I don't like the way that that below the line is treated. They don't get royalties. They get their contracted amount, and that's it. And then above the line are the actors. But a lot of people don't realize, like, even extras. I mean, I've been on huge motion pictures where extras don't eat with the Hollywood elite. Like, if they're big time actors, they have their own craft services, and everybody. It's the and Marcus and I have really, I mean, we may not agree on a lot of politics and stuff like that, but we really, really will never talk about politics. But Hollywood are the most bigot, hypocritical assholes that have ever lived, because they treat people horribly.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to understand, if you think that you're going to be a gaffer, a boom operator, I've been a key grip, all
So
those kinds
having
of
thin
things.
skin is not a good idea going
No,
into this
no.
industry.
Oh God, no. And that's, I want you guys to talk about it more, because I could go on a rant, because I'm pretty jaded in some things. But the thing of it is like, if you have thin skin, especially if you're an actor and you view your face as your business, if you have thin skin, this is not a business to be in. Because really, You couldn't take that metal thing out of your...
I could have cut it. I can cut it.
You know what? I don't want you to cut it because I want everybody to know that Jamie, because she's a CEO of a studio, that she thinks that she's so
metal thing out.
she's so much she's so important that she's leaving the noise making thing. Yeah, she's trying to take it out of her.
I'll have to do it later.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
No, but I mean, it's that's why I've preferred independent film because everybody works. If you're an actor and like, I can't pick up those cables, motherfucker, pick that shit up. We got shit to do. You're in the independent film industry. You got. That's why. He wrote. I'm on a show and I can't remember his name. He wrote Wind River. He's been doing Yellowstone. He wrote Hell or High Water. He wrote Sicario, for crying out loud. He's a great writer, but if you work like on Wind River, man, you work on his set. You got work to do, and if that means you're an actor and you got to throw some cables on the snowmobile to go up the mountain to do the filming for the day, by God, you do it.
Taylor Sheridan.
That's Why could I
don't
even know? I've even met the guy. I don't know why that. Anyway, but so I'm glad you started that at the beginning of the show, because if you open it up on where you want to go and what you want to do, if you got thin skin and you're going to take it personal when a casting director looks at you and goes, yeah, you're not what we want. Or they look at you and go, you're too fat. Or you're too thin. Or you're this. Or you're that. Like, one of my big running jokes is that I look like Sylvester Stallone and Woody Harrelson had a love child. I embrace. And Marcus is looking at me going, God damn, you really do. He's just looking at, damn.
I'm like, all right.
All right, I'm actually feeling it. But you have to embrace your stereotype, and you have to go with it. And I mean, I can tell you like what Hollywood really is and what Hollywood really isn't. And I would challenge anybody. I'll get Ross Patterson. You know who Ross is.
Oh.
I'll get Ross. I'll get his wife. They're out of the Hollywood market now.
Pretty cool.
Amazing people. If you want to check out another podcast, Ross Patterson Revolution, great podcast. He's also the host of Drinking Bros podcast. But Ross really lived the Hollywood life, and he will not. As a matter of fact, he's had some things where he said like sooner or later he's gonna go with tell-all. He's gonna tell you who's a piece of shit and who's not, and he doesn't care. And he's got that attitude. If you know who Ross Patterson is, he's a trip. I mean, but he's abrasive. But if you are worried about how you look and you base your worth on what a casting director says to you and stuff like that, this is not the business to be.
So don't be something you're not.
Yeah.
No, just be who you are.
Yeah.
Just be who you are, and don't be offended when you got to remember, if a casting director doesn't like you, that means they don't feel like you fit that particular role. That's it. It's not personal. But casting directors can come. You know, Jamie, you've been up there in the business. You've had to deal with all of it, and you understand the irritations of egos.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have to deal with somebody's ego, it's like, as a casting director, I can't worry about your ego. So if you are trying to be something other than yourself, you're just gonna get upset. And so, I mean,
because you're going to be chasing an invisible image.
Because our topic is like the pathway that we all think that there's no one way of doing it.
Mm-mm.
You know, and I think what's interesting is if you talk to, like, there's two people here in the room, ironically enough, that had a very interesting pathway. Jessica, you had barely got your start before you started working with Jamie, right?
Right.
Can you give like a little background on that, like kind of how you started?
I went to a talent training thing. I just wanted to be more comfortable with myself, I guess. I wanted to teach a birthing class, and went and did the thing, and I kind of fell in love with it. I don't even know how it happened. It was just like, oh, this is like a good tool for me to use, and I found you you guys and did the classes with you, and then I started doing improv classes, and then it just kind of just started just happening to the point where like here I am now, and I can't really, it just didn't stop. I couldn't stop, and it wouldn't stop, and here I am now. I go on stage weekly. I'm doing improv, and like I get paid to be funny, and in Billings, Montana, if you're doing stage work, you don't really get paid a lot. I mean, most of them don't.
Mm.
So it's like 3 years ago it started, and I don't. It just happened. It happened.
Marcus, your path, like right place, right time, willing to be there.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that pretty much just jump started. I mean, it already started going to school.
You
and
were
all
already
that,
there.
and-
Like that's what you wanted to do, but you had that Jamie calls it that thing. You had that thing that you wanted, and the strange thing is I don't think people sometimes realize don't look a gift horse in the mouth, and don't think that. So Jamie had cast your significant other, Chris, for a specific role. Beautiful, gorgeous man. And he shows up and did it correctly. Let me state this. Approached the director correctly through the proper chains and said, hey, my significant other is also into acting and in this world also. Are there any extra parts? Happened to catch the casting director who was having the worst day of his life. I know him pretty well. He was having the worst day of his life because they'd had to change locations within 8 hours. I mean,
Hours.
It was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a
Yeah.
horrible situation.
Less than 8 hours.
At this time, Jamie, as the director, Gemma, is going to have 60 plus women on set. Didn't have the time to set it up the way we wanted. And here comes Chris, who I hope you'll have him on the show. Amazing model, really talented. Says, hey, my significant other is part of this business too. Catches the casting director professionally. Casting director looks at him and goes, how soon can he be here?
He's like, well, he's the one who dropped me off. I'm like, okay, I'm down.
Call him up.
We'll get you some paperwork and we'll get rolling.
And you, audience in podcast land, Marcus, you showed back up in like 25 minutes. Like, ready to go. Clothing.
I've never taken a
different
shower
outfits.
so fast in my life.
Yeah, I mean,
bet
like,
not.
totally, you know, done, son. And like, but that was interesting because Jamie went to the writer on the set and just said, write it in now. You were in the right place, the right time, because you were willing to do it. And they even made you like a focal point in one of the scenes because we couldn't get you on the inside because the scene had already been done. But Jamie was like, no, write it. Make it happen. I want him in it. Then you end up getting to work with Nick Fry, who is a sound god. Like, I mean, and now your career, I mean, Nick, that situation didn't steer your career, but it started pushing you in the route. These are the people I want to be around. These are the people that I want to work with. Working with Nick was obviously like me working with Rick Ramage. It was like,
Right.
It just happened, you know?
I
So
think you are what you hang around or want to
You
be.
become that which you
Thank
are
you.
around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's my line, by the way.
I know. That's why I can hardly remember it.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. But I think you were starting off like, I mean, so okay, getting back to your initial thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start off, you were talking when we were talking about making the show. That there's a misconception that you should just start off and just do something, just do one thing.
Well,
And I disagree with that. I think you should. I think it like with me.
Now, I think there's a misconception that you can't have one without the other. Like, I've heard, oh, in order to be a good actor, you need to model. And in order to be a good model or you need to act, and I don't think that's necessarily the correct way to do it. I mean, I think if you want to get into modeling, does either or help each other? I think so, but I don't think you need both of them if you don't want to.
Well, back in the 80s, like, personalities that did more than one thing were, and I'll tell you what, I can't.
Are you perceived as more valuable? That's with anything. Oh, for sure.
Now it is, but it wasn't that way. So, and I'm going to throw one out there. Like, a lot of people, like, okay, people who did more than one thing. Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. They are, and Chris Christopherson. They are the outlaws of country music. They started acting. Were they the greatest actors? Nope. But I love their stuff. But there was like this period of time where it was like, you can only be an actor, or you can only be a model, or you can only be a singer, or what have you. And I don't know really who broke that mold, and I do not want to give this woman credit. I don't want to give this woman credit. I don't want to give Jennifer Lopez, who is the worst actress to ever play.
I love J-Lo.
She has no singing. I will look her in the face. She's got no singing talent whatsoever. She's the most auto-tuned.
She's gonna tickle in her throat.
Sorry.
Jess, did you smoke a joint before you?
That tickle in your throat.
Like a tickle all of a sudden, like.
That didn't pull out. Spitzer swallows.
She hasn't been able to put anything in her mouth for too long. She's going through withdrawals.
Yeah, and I think
Somebody get her to appear at Romance Party stat.
That's
Just
staying on the
kidding.
show, just for the record, Jessica.
She's like,
I mean that with all the love in the world.
she's like, screw
And
you
the funny
guys.
part is she's laughing at herself, and Jessica has like a double D breast, and she's laughing so hard that her boobs are like shaking over here. So, for those of you who can't see that in podcast land, you get shaking boobs and coughing over here. So, you know I'm right.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, now that you mention it, I'm like, fuck,
Yes,
they
they
do.
are. Come on.
Like,
Give her a compliment. You're such a shit.
you know,
So-
I
I'm not saying
don't
they're
like
bad
running
boobs.
for a reason. I can't even laugh anymore.
So I think the big question here with what we're talking about with getting into the business. So do you guys think a formal education is necessary, or do you
I was
think
reading that.
Oh.
do you think that you can get in just on all experience? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
There are some people that are like, "Oh, bachelor's degree will help," and I'm like, "What? How would a degree help?"
Just
I mean,
It depends.
I think it depends on what you do because
Exactly. I don't think you need a degree to become an actor, but to know how to do sound, you need a degree.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like
Okay,
with
that's
sound,
fair.
there's a lot more of a technical
That's
side of
fair.
it.
I think.
Call me
being-
biased,
I
but
think being behind a lens, you need some technical. I think you need.
oh,
Some
absolutely.
Technical. We've had
Whether
some,
it be college or not, questionable,
had
but
some
some
great-
sort of training.
Jamie's had some great, and I've been in the business behind the camera since 2003. Jamie's been behind the camera and in front of the camera since 2004 or 5.
no.
Around that. But with that, it's you need to be taught. You need to learn from people who either know, because we had a
That's
great-
the problem too. Is there's so many. Sorry to cut you off, but you just gave me a really good
great
point.
segue. Like
Yes.
I saw where you're going with that.
Yes. So the problem is if you are an individual who wants to take the time to get an education, do your research first and figure out where you're going to go. There's so many, which this could be a segue into our final point
You
too.
know where I'm going to go with this.
It is
gonna open up.
so easy for people to scam you and treat you like you're gonna be this big person because you're going to this fancy school. Let me tell y'all something, and I can speak from this for personal experience. When I was 12 years old when I officially made the decision to try to pursue a career in music and art and film and all of that. I was 12 years old. I'd produced and completed my first song when I was 10.
Spielberg.
I'd already been doing it for 2 years, okay? So for the longest time, I went along with whatever everybody was telling me, and I was convinced that the only way that I was ever going to do anything successful is if I got a degree from Berklee College of Music. Okay? Berklee is a world-renowned school. They're a fantastic school. Don't get me wrong.
So's Columbia.
Right.
You know?
But the thing is you go to Berklee if you want to get a major in jazz performance or get a major in piano performance or vocal performance. I would have never known that, and literally the only reason I discovered all this was by a happy accident. But just because you're being told that it's the best school in the world or it's super world renowned and they have all this credit does not automatically mean that it's what's best for you.
No.
So how
It
did
doesn't.
you weed that out? How did you weed that out?
Well, for me, so I got accepted to Berklee.
We're going down
right?
this rabbit hole.
And
This is
no,
good.
this is just for the.
This is
you
about
know,
what people are ready to hear. Like, this is good stuff. Because you got complete, like, literally from that side of the studio to that side of the studio, you got completely different sides of the spectrum. And you got me, the guy who has been punched in the mouth by the entire industry. So don't hold back when you talk about this. Because I want people to hear this. Seriously.
Well, and so, like, there's this stigma, you know, and there's nothing but stereotypes and stigmas about the entire entertainment industry. For example, actors and singers, they got to go to Juilliard. You know, there's a stigma that just because you go to Juilliard, that says something about who you are as a person. All these things, right? And people think, oh, I graduated from Juilliard, I made it. I'm a professional actress or actor. No, you're not. Same thing with Berklee. There's this huge stigma around Berklee College of Music that if you go there, you're this super talented musician, you're this,
You
you're that.
graduate and
No,
I'm
you're a
Mozart.
fucking paycheck for them is all you are. The reason I didn't get into Berklee was not because I wasn't capable. I was accepted. I still have my acceptance letter because I dreamed for 10 years to go to that school, and I worked my ass off to get accepted. I did it, and they turned me away because I couldn't afford it. So
wow.
it was a happy accident that I ended up discovering Full Sail University, which in the long run, for me and what I want to do, turned out to be a significantly better path. So the universe was looking out for me because the thing that I had spent 10 years of my life dreaming, because the media and other people in the industry told me that that's what I needed to do, I assumed it was right. But it's not my path, you know? And that's where people get skewed is, oh, you need to win an Academy Award to be a good actor. You need to win a Grammy to be a good musician. You need to go to this school, you know, and then people back up Lady Gaga, for example. We talked about her in the last show. I love her to death.
I love her.
She went to Juilliard.
Yeah.
Wow, I
Right?
didn't know that.
But
I
she
guarantee
is
you
not
she-
Lady Gaga because she went to Juilliard.
I
She's
guarantee
Lady
you
Gaga because she's fucking Lady Gaga.
She's not used one thing she learned from Juilliard. That woman was born with talent. If anything else, if you want my personal opinion, and you know, like, I don't think a lot about her, but at the same time, if anything else, Juilliard robbed 4 years of her career.
Absolutely.
That girl should have been on the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica doing what she did,
Right.
making music for the people the way that she
Right.
does. And I love her. Like I said, I don't agree with her as a person in politics, whatever, but I'd love to see her more as an actress.
Oh, yeah. She's phenomenal.
She's starting to kill that, dude.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
She is. Oh. No, hold on. She's the next Barbara Streisand.
Hold,
That's a
She's
whole
better.
nother conversation.
hold my poor bladder. I'm gonna pee.
So we have to hold.
Sorry.
Cut.
Cutting.
We're holding.
I mean, ultimately, the point that I'm trying to make with that is school is helpful, but it's not
Well,
the reason.
Education is helpful.
Right, education, absolutely. But also, people sit here and try to debate whether education is better than experience,
Oof.
which I would disagree with. You need both. You need both. Regardless, I think you need both. Whether your education is going to college for 4 years or whether your education is taking acting classes personally with somebody, regardless. You know what I mean? Like, just, and the reason I say that is my personal experience. You know, I'm currently paying $60,000 for a bachelor's of science in audio production engineering, you know, and it's a fantastic program, and I've learned a lot, and I've gotten a lot better at my craft because of it. But I wouldn't be where I'm at right now just because of school. I'm also where I'm at right now because of my experience working with you guys and with other projects that I've done and actual experience working on the set. So I personally think that anybody that says one is better than the other is fucking stupid. Sorry, but they are.
I don't think that you can learn. Jessica, was Loco the first show, big production you'd worked on?
Yeah, it was honestly my first thing that I did besides that talent thing that I went to.
So when you did that, when you were on set of Loco for the first time, big set,
Yeah.
Lights, cameras everywhere, press running around. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah, it was.
Do you think you can learn that living through that with a school?
No.
Or would you rather done it the way that you did it?
I like living it, like doing it. I don't think I would have gone to school or anything that would have prepared me for what it actually was.
A lot of people say that it's the pace.
Yeah,
The pace of how things are working, and you got
like
you got Hamu, which Hamu is hair and makeup. You got Hamu calling you into trailers, which we had 2 or 3. There were 2 or 3 trailers.
Yeah.
On set. Like you had something constant, like, and your character, your appearance was a big deal.
Yeah.
And that was something that happened when you showed up on set, and the director went, "Oh, this is a great look. I love this. Make it happen."
Yeah, and well, that character, she just kind of came like
You created her.
I created her, and my thought on the character was like she's a beetle, like she's or a bird, like she has a hard outer shell, and like she's just this soft person on the inside. So kind of like the opposite of me, like in real life, because in real life I'm like a soft person, and I'm like tough as nails on the inside. If you, I'm not soft. So it was just, that's how I imagined her, is like she used her makeup and used her hair and used her everything as like a guard.
And you didn't need to pay $10,000 plus to learn that either.
No.
You just did it.
No, but she did come to the acting schools that us and her.
Yeah.
Are you still now? I don't want to mention the agency, but are you still with that particular?
Nope.
I don't think that agency is even working anymore.
Yeah, no.
So I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It's just that they just kind of, they're kind of.
Yeah, I'm with no one right now, and all I do is improv, and I do like stand up every once in a while. So.
Right.
I mean.
Because your character in that show was, like, if anything comes out of that, like that was. Well, what was interesting about that too is, you had so much going on in your personal life.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that. We changed where that character scope went because you were actually supposed to be a big part of the romantic part of that, and that was just something you didn't need in your personal life at that time, and you were able to sit down with the director and go, "Hey, can't do this," or not that you can't do this. Like, this is my concern.
Yeah.
And then it, and we could have talked about that in the last direct. Like, not a lot of directors will do that, but like your character was so important to that. But it's kind of those things where you got so much on the job training during that.
I would have done it, but I mean, like, I guess now I'm getting a divorce, so it may have like
helped
speed things
prolong the
along.
inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, because I went through a lot of. I mean, the last few years have been kind of shit. With not even with just the divorce, just with life. So, yeah, I got a lot of on the spot training.
Marcus, did you bring this up because we're all in the business in different facets? Do you think there's a lot of scam? You know what?
Absolutely.
I looked at the look in your eyes. I wish we were doing vodcast.
I think it goes even beyond scam.
Don't hold back, because Jamie, Gemma, and I'm very passionate about this, and I have a hard time keeping my mouth shut. So it's nice to see. But
Clearly.
Really?
No, that
I wasn't at the romance party. But
it was fun. So.
But so.
Always fun.
With us talking about the path to go on, what I hear from, because I work as a casting director for Gemma, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh man, can I just talk freely? Are you okay with that?"
are just do you, honey.
Okay. But I hear a lot of
She's
people.
like, I don't know what I'm signing up
Nobody
for,
signed
so
the
sure.
show. Yeah.
Hold on. We can cut it out. But I hear a lot of people going, well, you know, my agent says this.
Well, your agent's a fucking bitch.
Who's your agent? And then
Sorry.
yeah, but
We'll
then,
cut that part out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But then we hear who that agent is, and you're like, who? What? I've never heard of this person. This person, you know, I'm not against the union. I'm not against the union. I just can't afford to work with the union yet.
Right.
The second that there are some opportunities, like I did work with the union, I get union checks every quarter. Big running joke. I paid my SAG dues, and I mean, I think that SAG takes care of people to a certain point. But we have dealt with small agencies in the independent field. Well, yeah, my agent says this. It's like, wait, who? And so I feel there's a lot of scam artists out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
There's a whole world of scamming that goes along with the entertainment industry.
you're supposed to be able to, and this is assume, you're supposed to be able to, and that's not just in this industry, that's in just life, period. You want to be able to trust people who have that knowledge. That's the whole point
Right.
of asking. It's the whole point in people in different levels of the industry. You should be able to go up to somebody and say, hey, your God's honest truth, what do you think about this, this, and this? Not because they're pissed off at the world, or they want your money, or they want to see you fail, and they're playing teacher's pet with one of their clients. So it is their choice
Yeah.
to steer you in the right or wrong direction. And I think that, and that's with everything, but I think it is very wrong. And I think that if you find that going in, I view life in general as life's an asshole. And if you know that, then you can expect the unexpected. And
Yeah.
I'm a very naive person sometimes because I want to see the good in everybody, but that's not reality. And
Yeah.
I even catch myself doing it, and a few other people who might not have that hard shell like
Yeah.
you, Jess, or like some of us others who were like, I don't know if you're telling me the truth, but I'm gonna test the waters. But if you
Yeah.
screw me over, I'm not gonna be a nice person.
Yeah. Well, like I have the personality where like oh, this person's a piece of shit. I may hear that like a lot, but I'm like, oh, but you see, like, look at how beautiful they are. Look at what a beautiful person they are. Like,
Yeah.
just like see the silver like lining of like, I'm like, no, they're actually not a good person, Jessica. I'm like, but
Yeah.
they make really good scrambled eggs or something, you
Yeah.
know, like, something stupid, like, and I tend to do that, and it sucks, and I'm just learning to, you gotta, like,
almost like read through the bullshit media.
Right.
And it can be very hard because, especially if you don't know and are like, hey, I want to take this road.
If you don't know, that's the problem.
That
That's
people
the problem.
take
That is the problem.
advantage of that.
Exactly.
But now, unlike years ago, we have the internet. And you can venture out to and really, really, if you want to get into the business or anything, you are not doing it justice unless you do your research.
Oh, for
and
sure.
if you don't do your research, I'm sorry, but you're just as, you deserve to kind of be a little bit played.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have shit happen to you to be able to live through it and go, okay, I'm not gonna do this again.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and there's some people that are horrible, that
And they
have
take advantage
horrible
of that.
things happen to them, and that is not good, and it makes the rest of us look bad.
Yeah.
As far as directors or what happens off screen of people taking advantage, I don't like to say this, but maybe inappropriate stuff that happens that people shouldn't be doing.
Right.
People taking advantage of each other, and especially with agents and
Ooh.
directors and things of that nature.
Oh, she hit the A word with me.
I've never had an agent. I know plenty of people that are like, fuck you, I'm going solo. which is awesome,
Mhm.
you know. And then some people are like, yeah, I have this agent and they run my life and I haven't gotten any gigs. And I'm like, I'm a person that's a go-getter. And I'd be like, why would you let someone just control your life?
yeah.
But then
Because they didn't know any better.
And here I'm a tangent, but I've also been in a relationship
She opened it
as
up.
far as dating
Yeah.
somebody that
Here
I've
we go.
been done that same freaking thing.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, you don't know when you're in it, but once you get out of it, you're
Here's
like,
a
I'm
misconception
freaking dumb.
that-
Why did I do that?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to interrupt you. But here's a misconception that a lot of people have. You don't work for an agent. An
Agent works for you.
Yeah.
At least that's
And-
how it's supposed to be.
So it's
No,
kind of
that's-
like a
no,
realtor.
that's the way
right?
it really
a realtor,
is.
like a house realtor, they're kind of like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
An agent works for you. You don't work for an agent. And you know you do need to take care of your side of the business. You have to have your headshots. I always used to tell people it's a little bit different now. But if you're in a community where you're getting your auditions locally, you need to travel with 3 different outfits all the time.
Mhm.
You have your headshots and a good headshot. Marcus, you and I have talked about this. If you have some knowing, and I'm just gonna call it is, some dumb fuck wannabe who bought a goddamn camera, and I can take your headshot, the fuck you can. You have somebody's career in your hands,
Right.
and so you have these wannabe agents. Hold on, you have these wannabe agents. No, come with it. Come back. We're gonna come back to it. What it said.
And it's just like, but you also have actors and models not taking their own craft seriously. So they're going,
We'll get to that.
It is
that-
easy to blame an agent for things.
It is.
That's true.
And also the photographer.
Right.
And sometimes they're just like, oh, this will do.
Right.
But
so
People
here's the thing.
forget that it's all a symbiotic relationship, or at least it's supposed to be.
This comes back to what I say. You become that which you are around.
Yeah.
So if you are a professional actor who goes, look, I want to get my job, I want to do my stuff. Prime example. We started doing a show a year ago where I took on a specific look. I'm not going to go into it so people don't know, but I took on a specific look. Then we had people going, Junior, I want you to audition for this too. That look was very hard for me to fulfill because it literally took what 6 hours in the hair
depends.
chair.
At first.
Because I don't have
Now we got it down to.
I don't
about
have
an hour and a
36-inch
half.
dreads, but this look worked for people. Like, look, I like this. It's like, damn it, you gotta do it. You know, so and I have headshots that I need to take now for projects that I would like to work on that we won't talk about here. But it's like I have an opportunity, and so, but I'm not going to, you know. I'm going to attack the white elephant. We deal with a couple of agents in where we're filming, and they're just a fucking joke. They're absolutely pathetic.
And not the funny kind of joke either.
No, it's they want to charge people for acting classes, but yet they haven't studied with they haven't gone to Larry Moss Studio or Mark Durso, and I mean, there's so many renowned acting coaches out there.
Is it fair to say that since actors and actresses and models and even comedians and, you know, kind of what you've done if you want to get into that world, casting directors and producers ask for your resume, isn't it only fair that you can ask for theirs?
No, can't.
No, is it fair that you can ask your agent for theirs?
No.
Why?
Oh, for your agent?
Yeah.
You're goddamn right.
Well, because
Yes.
everybody wants your resume
Well,
as for
because, I
acting
mean,
and modeling.
well,
so
but-
isn't it not fair to do your own homework to ask
Oh,
for their
absolutely.
resume?
But here's the thing though, like if you go to, you're gonna know that stuff before you go, because like, yeah, here's the thing, there's 10 agencies that if you are behind, if this agency backs you, then you're good. Like literally, it's kind of those things like their reputation is their business card. So you have, like my favorite agency is UTA, United Talent Agency. They work with a lot of people that I like. I like a couple of their agents, but you have one of the longest, most famous one, William Morris Agency. You got William Morris, you got CAA, you got Creative Artist Agency, you got Paradigm Talent Agency, Agency for the Performing Arts, the Gersh Agency. They're a little bit smaller, but they got some like legitimate shit. But if you're part of like, Creative Artist Agency, William Morris, UTA, ICM, and stuff like that, if you're with that agency, then those agents are legit. And if you don't feel like your agent is doing their job right, you can call somebody up and go, hey, I got offered a role and so did this, and this. Is this legit? Yeah, it is. And if it's not legit, the next thing you know, you get a phone call, because I've been on the receiving end of this phone call going, no, some things were a little bit of an issue. I dealt with an agency out of Denver at one point, and I wanted him to continue to handle my stuff while I was working in LA, and I had a couple jobs through Universal and stuff like that, and they were calling him, and his office wasn't taking care of the calls. And I finally called him on his cell phone. I'm like, hey, I got an opportunity for these jobs. He's like, oh, well, I'm in New York. You're in New York doing what? He had some pathetic, worthless, dumb, I'm just going to say without worthless, dumb bitch who had wrote some frickin' community theater piece. And he taught, ready for this? You're going to like this. He talked his people into paying their own way to go to New York and stay, and they were getting experience in working on her production.
What the?
And I called him up, and this is what I said. I'm like, so does she blow you in the parking lot or in the back room? And he was pissed. And I was like, dude, I'll kick your fucking ass. This is my livelihood. You got an empty office. You got 3 or 4 people that are getting work from LA, and you thought this was a good idea? Well, magically, like 3 or 4 months later, he disappeared. But he'd been a very reputable individual up until that point. But for 2 years, he started to get into this. This is my other irritation. Marcus, I hope I'm not going on a tangent, but it was an agency going, you need to take my acting classes, and this is how much it's going to be. You need to take my marketing class. It's like, wait,
okay,
what?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Please. Because that's going to make me, that's what gets me
I'm
irritated.
sorry. I don't, if I want to do my craft, am I going to put some money into it? Yes. Mm-hmm. Am I going to go totally freaking broke and not pay my rent? No. It depends on who you talk to. Their priorities are their priorities. But I'm sure as hell not going to. I'm going to, cheat a little bit, do some YouTube, maybe find who the best, like Uta Hagen, maybe find some classes online,
Michael
or
Caine's,
see if I can.
You and I talked about Masterclass. You can go on Masterclass. It's $180, and you can watch some of the great, like.
I hear it's phenomenal.
Michael Caine's Masterclass, and it is way old. His description of like eyes
would I go
on camera, it's amazing.
Now, would I maybe go to one, to pay for a class, if through my agency? I probably would. Yeah.
If you know it's worth it, there's no reason not to.
Here and there, yes. Yeah. But
can you put it on your resume? Yeah. That's another thing. Can you put it on your resume?
If I don't see anything out of it, I'm sorry, folks, but I'm not going to keep going.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going to keep paying for the same thing every time because somebody new is in that class and I have to stay to listen to the same shit. I'm sorry, I'm leaving.
At that point, I think you're a moron.
And I'm going to be talking to my agent going, I don't think you have my interests in mind. I think you are you.
I know.
Well, you're stuck in this contract.
I know an actress, and we'll keep this here, but I know an actress that has been with a certain agency, which is, they're not an agency, for 2.5 years, has spent close to $7,000 on classes, you need to know this. She's not got one audition.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm with an agent and I don't get one
Her
audition in a
excuse
year,
that gal's
I'm
excuse
done.
could be, or that agent's excuse could be, oh, but nobody wants what she has. Bullshit.
Because
Bullshit.
you haven't been able to
Fucking
teach her what
bullshit.
she does have, so she doesn't know what to show.
Because you're lazy and you don't know. You only want to do what's important for
Yeah.
you.
Work with what you got.
I'm so yeah.
embrace your spirit, embrace your stereotype, be who you are, and
if you're not willing to, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a psychological rant, but if you're not willing to tailor each, that's the whole point. If you're not willing to tailor to each personality, then sorry, you shouldn't be in the friggin' business.
Nope.
Period.
Yeah.
Because you can't treat each individual. You don't treat your friends that way.
Right.
Well, but there's been so many scam agencies, and I probably need to not speak of this one, but there is a state, and I think their capital in Washington. They call themselves this particular capital of this particular
Just
state.
so you
of
know,
Washington.
the city that you're thinking of is not the capital of the state you're thinking of. But
Okay.
continue.
Don't forget, insult somebody.
so-
do
so-
it right.
so how do I say that? That's not a capital, but that is,
It's a very well-known city for sure.
and they have an NFL football team.
Yes.
And they are the something Hawks, right?
Yes, and they are also known
Okay.
for their coffee.
Yeah, there we go. And so that particular area has a blank
Very well-known agency.
Yeah.
Good,
The-
not necessarily. Well-known, yes.
biggest scam there is.
I've been a part of that.
They have traveled from
shit.
state to state to state going, do you want to be a talent? You ready for this one? Their commercial. Do you want your child to be the next Disney star? We can get your, are you fucking serious? And then they get these people to pay for $1,000 to come to their little bullshit,
Try more like 5,000.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow.
Are you
For-
serious?
One class.
Ooh, Mark.
Like I said, the
Pull
agency
shit
you're
up.
talking about, I was a part of it. I am still technically legally signed with that agency.
No way.
No.
I am. I still
shit.
get the emails. I still get their casting calls.
Ick.
They wanted me to pay $5,000 for a 3-day improv class.
No shit.
Hang out with
Not
Jessica.
shitting you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No,
But
I
see-
know.
but see,
I know
that
where to
right
get
there-
improv classes.
And that was one of the
Cheaper.
6 classes that they
And
told
they're
me I
really
had to
good.
take before they would even start trying to submit me and get me auditions.
We had another person that worked with us on a project that Jim had put together, and it was well, we need $1,500 to get you with our photographer, and then we need $1,000 for this class for you to learn how to pose, and it came close to $5,000. And I'm going, I'm sorry, if any agent asks you a dime, even if they're like, I'm going to teach you acting. Look, I'm going to call something out that could be detrimental to us, but I know a local agent that we work with. It's like, you got to pay me $100. So I'm going to call that, like, we've dealt with an agency that was local that we've dealt with, and they're charging their people $175 for a class that you could go on YouTube and learn.
You could learn more from YouTube than what you're getting from those classes.
You can you can read Uta Hagen's book. Uta Hagen, that was my instructor. Like that's my person. You know, Uta Hagen, Mark Durso, Larry Moss Studio. Those are the places that I trained with, and I learned so much. I have that experience, and this person is trying to charge people who's never acted, who's never done anything in the business, who doesn't even remotely, has never even worked with SAG, and they're trying
And
to
learning
charge.
on YouTube doesn't count if that's where you're
Yeah, you
getting
can't.
your
Well,
information.
hold on.
And if you're gonna learn it through YouTube and then charge people to teach it in a class,
No,
that's shitty.
exactly. If you're gonna like take Michael Caine's class on like he's got a great class on eyes with the camera. It's an amazing class. Like I tell everybody to watch it. But if you're that person, you're a piece of shit and you're stealing from people. I know for a fact. one of this agency's actresses has paid close to $7,000. Never even got an audition. How can you live with yourself at night? And that's unfortunately in this business. Like, you and I dealt with somebody with Loco who said he was an acting coach and a director. Remember for episode 8? He was bringing all these famous people out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't, because there was a legal matter behind that. And he was, I have this acting school, all this stuff, and I'm bringing all these actors out, and we sent this guy a script. He goes,
Botched
yeah,
it.
I went ahead and rewrote it. We're like, we had a board that we had
Well,
to.
that's not the deal, but okay, we'll take a look
yeah,
at it.
and that's what we're like. You know what? We have a board that we have to answer to.
Mind you,
We have it's a
raised
family show.
money on our show
He got $25,000.
somewhere else, and we didn't see a
Yeah.
freaking dime.
You know, I'm
Where's
gonna
the
call it
money?
out. Tom Artavani.
Yeah.
What?
Tom Artavani.
Yep.
He's a piece of shit. He had raised money on our name, $25,000 that
And
he
lied.
pocketed.
Lied to his actors and actresses, saying that they were going to be paid, which we told
Hey
him
Tom,
that's
I'm gonna
not
see
what's
you,
going to
motherfucker.
happen.
Yeah.
This is just an episode that we're doing to raise awareness. That's it. No,
We were
and all the
raising
proceeds
awareness
that we
to,
were going to get,
veteran
if it was
suicide.
going to go through Netflix or whatever, that particular episode, all the proceeds on that episode, if it ever got picked up, was going to go to
He stole
Veterans
money
awareness.
from one of our producers. Is an amazing human being. He's a pastor, and he travels down to Mexico to, like, whether I agree with it or not, to help out people who've been trying to, like, smuggled over. Like, this is that guy, and he bought their plane tickets to come out. I will challenge Tom Artavani to come on to any show with me, because he won't want to get in the same room with me. He's a piece of shit. We didn't know, but he's a nobody. He thought that he was a somebody.
Apparently, he is a somebody to that end of the world because he got a
No.
lot of money.
Well, yeah, to some people, but he got a lot of money but using our name of what we were doing. And then he sent us a script, which I have. We have at this point, Jamie has a family show. It is a family PG-13. We called it Mayberry, And he goes, well, that doesn't sell. And the first 4 pages of his bullshit script was which was retard. Can't say that
Can't
word.
say that
Sorry.
word.
I do apologize for the R word. There's no excuse for that. But his script was, this veteran runs through the woods and kills an elk with his bare hands and a knife.
What?
For awareness for PTSD.
For PTSD.
I'm like, are you flipping kidding me?
And we're
What?
sitting there, and I'm reading it going, what? And he goes, oh, well, this is what sells.
I know what PTSD is.
Yeah, that was bad.
Okay.
We had 18 veterans
you're the one
on
who
the
needs to go
set
to
that were
psych ward,
Purple
bud.
Heart winners and everything,
Yeah.
and he didn't want them on set. Yeah, he didn't want them on set. He has this stripper, porn star, that his director of photography is trying to bang, and I'll call it out. I will get him on the phone, and I will get him on. I will go and talk to him like, hey, I got it. I got all this stuff on. We got it all documented.
Yeah.
I'll bring it out. The 3 pieces of shit you were going to bring out, you're bringing this porn star out, all this kind of stuff. When we decided that we weren't going to go with it, he tried to threaten to sue us, wanted us to still bring him out and, like, film his bullshit. We were using our film and our cameras.
So,
Excuse me.
and one of our producers says, okay, let me remind you. By the way, I worked on one of your films, and because you had a conniption fit,
Yeah.
and you couldn't get the money, it was never redone. So why don't you just part ways and let's be done with this?
Yeah, one of the producers, the pastor that was one of our producers, he said, you couldn't have your war scene for your supposable PTSD film, and you never made it happen. And this guy's a piece of shit. And what he did is he started this acting school out in LA. So that's what we tell people, like, just because you're going to LA to go to an acting school doesn't mean you're going to the right one.
Right.
Tom Artavani, I will you and I soon someday will find each other, and I will freaking knock your fucking teeth out. You cost people thousands of dollars because you're a wannabe. But you know what? Kudos to him, because he's a scam artist and he scammed an entire film company, and that sucks. And that happened to Jamie's film company.
You gotta live and you learn.
And that's just what happens. It is what it is. We have actors that do. We have actors that just don't quite know what they're trying to do, but they need to do much more research in where they want to go. If you want to be an actor, hey, buy Uwe Hagen's book, and I think it's Jesus, she has been my instructor for years. But learn how to audition, learn how to deal with agencies and stuff like that, learn how to get people on your side that you can trust. But even I've even had veterans. That scam people.
So we're going to talk about how to prevent scams
It's a good idea.
in the entertainment industry. Marcus, would you like to hit that off?
I have personally almost been the victim of multiple scams, so sure. No, for anybody listening to this podcast that might be thinking about trying to get into the entertainment industry, this section will be really good for you guys to listen to. There's definitely some things that seem obvious when you hear it, but when you're being scammed, they're not necessarily the most obvious things. But just some tips to prevent yourself from getting screwed, like some of us have in the past. First of all, bad grammar and weird emails. So this is, I've seen it so many times.
Really?
Oh yeah, I have been approached in multiple,
bad grammar.
very bad grammar.
That text to translate, if it's in a foreign language, it doesn't translate. Well, we've all had that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So stuff like that is really common. Anytime you're offered payment up front, it's a scam, regardless. There's no industry where you work and get paid for it before you complete the job. There's no industry that does that. It's no different in the acting industry. You show up to a set, you do your job, and you get paid for it.
On your equipment.
If you're an audio professional, you show up, you record the podcast, you record the song, whatever it might be, and then you get paid for it. So it's extremely common for scam artists to offer payment up front because that is very appealing to individuals, especially people who aren't actively in the industry and they're trying to get into it. So it makes it sound very easy and appealing. I was almost a victim of this years ago, which leads into another point, which is check fraud and check scams.
Yeah.
If they're offering to pay you up front, that's one thing. If they're offering to mail you a check, that's another thing. You don't receive checks through the mail. I was part of a scam where somebody offered and they wanted me to model for a clothing company that was doing a shoot here locally. The initial emails I was receiving seemed pretty legit. There was nothing wrong with the grammar, nothing like that. And it led on, and they were basically like, so we're going to send you a check, and this check, we need you to take this money and deposit it into this other account for us. And it's called a fake check scam. And the goal is, what they're going for is getting you to take a check that they fraudulently printed, put it back into their actual account, but because it's already gone through your bank account, when it gets returned, you're the one that's going to have to pay for it. So they got a free $3,000-$4,000.
Wow.
That almost happened to me. It wasn't until after I received the check that I realized I was being scammed. So that's something to watch out for. Also, never assume you're talking to who you think you're talking to. Always do research. Always look into the person and who they claim they are. Casting without an audition. That is another thing I've almost been a part of. If you're getting offered a job before you get a chance to be told what you're doing or what you're expected to be doing, there's a problem. Because whoever is telling you that information is clearly feeding off of you for wanting something so bad that you'll just say yes to it.
You know, that's been something that was sorry. You know what? Can you give me a second?
Go for it.
That was when I first moved to LA. Jamie knows who this person is, Hal. Hal was possibly, and so people can like not be freaked out. Hal was somebody who I loved very dearly. Like we were tight. Gemma knows about this person. It's actually, this story is one of the reasons why Gemma tries to take care of people. And when Hal and I first moved to LA, she went on a couple auditions. And I can't go into what Hal's background was, but she had a stellar professional background. And she was also, just so people know what kind of intelligence she had, she was up for a scholarship to get her doctorate in physics. Not stupid. And this woman had taken the professional level of the acting business very seriously, and she went on 2 auditions that were sent to her by who we thought were reputable people. And she walked in, and it was the fucking black couch. We were living in California, and the first one she went on, like, she was smart enough to be like, you know what? I see what you're fucking trying to do here. And she stood up, she goes, I appreciate your time. Thank you. No, come on in and, like, read and talk. No, go fuck yourself. They were interviewing for porn. And
So maybe I'm a little naive and I grew up different. I mean, I may not be city folk, but if someone says, hey, I'm doing an audition in a hotel room.
No, these aren't auditions in hotel rooms. Don't ever, no.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it was.
Oh, okay.
These were full-on production companies
Wow.
that had gone through her agent at the time. Her agent was sketchy.
Wow.
And so she went on one audition, and you know what Hal looked like. Like we've talked about that.
Mm.
And a beautiful woman, amazing person. The next Tuesday, she got called on another one, and it was the same fucking thing.
Yuck.
More porn. And she's like, she came back to me that night, and she goes, you know what? I'm done. This was a stellar actress. She'd been in my very first film, and she could act. She was amazing. She's the one that actually got me into the Larry Moss studio. And she's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just going to go and get my degree, my doctorate, and whatever, you know, in physics, and I'm done. And the acting world lost a stellar, amazing actress. She was beautiful. She was exotic, and I loved her to death. And I don't want people in podcast land to think that I'm disrespecting Gemma here right now, who I'm married to. No, Gemma knows who this person is.
Is this person from around here?
No.
Okay, then I was gonna say, because I
no.
feel like I know who you're talking about. But never
Not
mind.
local at all. Long time ago.
It broke my heart because we went there together to try the business out.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to understand. And this is what Gemma, Jessica has figured out. This is why we do the show, is like, understand, when you get into this, you have got to pay attention to where you're going and what you're doing.
In the modern world,
you
you pretty
gotta-
much have to assume you're being scammed and
Yes.
prove it wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anymore, you have to assume you're being scammed and let them prove it wrong.
Yes.
Agreed.
Plain and simple. And there's you know, if you have an agent that is going to try to charge you money, they're a scam artist. They just want your money.
Right.
There's absolutely, I mean, even in the community that we're in, we have an agent here that's saying, I'm doing acting classes. Where the fuck did you get your fucking education?
Right.
You got nothing.
Who says that this individual is even
Yeah.
qualified to be teaching acting classes?
You don't have shit.
It doesn't work on the people that have been with that agent. It's the new people that they're trying to reel in. They're
Yeah.
preying on the weak, that don't know, naive, that are coming into the business. That I want to try this out, and they don't know.
Which is interesting because,
but
Jess, you don't have to deal with that in comedy because comedy, you either get up and you can do it or you can't.
Yeah, it's
because you're on your own.
yeah, it's on your own, and like I am doing like a group of us started to get together on Mondays,
Right.
and like we just tell a joke and we like tear it apart, and
Ooh.
you know.
God, that's
it's-
brutal.
Yeah.
To have your art just say like, I told a great joke. Your joke fucking sucked.
Well,
And
no,
here's
Oh.
6 reasons why.
God, I mean, that's like painful.
Jesus.
No, it's really helpful.
But I mean, I can see that. It's like, man, you better have some thick skin. Like, okay, I'm going to tell you why your joke fucking sucks and you should die over
It's
there.
probably not
Well,
that way.
no.
You
I
guys
mean,
are friends.
comedians
Constructive
are
criticism.
Some of the nicest people that you will ever meet. Like, one comedian, he did like a joke, and he's like, you know, if you ever like, the comedian family is so great. Like, you can travel and like be like, you hit up a comedian and like, hey, yeah, come stay at my house, and that's just kind of how like the community is for as far as I've seen it. It's just like I mean, everybody's just great. I can't really say anything
Well, and you
bad.
can't take
bad.
away, and we've
Anything bad.
avoided it, but comedians have changed the face of entertainment. And
Oh, for sure.
I don't want to go down this road because this is an entire show, but Joe Rogan just changed the face of media and podcasting forever.
Oh, for sure.
Whether you like him or not,
Yeah.
this guy is willing to sit there and look at YouTube and go, here you go, folks. That's a middle finger for podcast land. Here's middle finger, folks. I'm going to take my 90 million and move to Texas, and I'm going to do my podcast, and I'm going to fly all my guests out because I have the money. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, woo, wow. I mean, he did that. And all the people that Joe Rogan, all the comedians that Joe Rogan got started in doing podcasts, comedians changed the face of entertainment.
So
I think. I mean, that's just.
I'm gonna
Woo.
go ahead, Jess.
I've met several, and I literally cannot. It's just like a group. I don't understand. I think it's just like being, like the pain. We talked about like on one episode, like how like a lot of comedians are depressed and
They got rough lives. It's
Yeah,
not
it's-
yeah.
So it's, I mean, not all of them, but I mean, like, it's, I just think that there's, like, a certain amount of understanding for life that you have to make fun of it.
Oh, I really appreciate that. That's a great comment.
Right.
That's a great comment. That's ooh, wow. Jessica.
Thanks.
Jessica motherfucking Johnson getting deep. Going deep, going to the paint. Wow.
Well, and I think to kind of go on our last subject here towards the end of the show is, I think everybody thinks that, oh, just because I come into a project or do this, it's going to be finished.
That shit. Oh no.
And
Okay, you know.
All I could do is laugh to that.
You know what, Marcus, hang with
and
me.
it's because I think we are an instant gratification world, and we
Gemma,
want it right now.
You've owned a studio for going on 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
How many actors and actresses have contacted you going, when am I get to see myself on?
Well, there's a
I know.
difference. Now,
I know
let me
what you're
finish. There is a difference between
Damn it,
somebody
she hammered me
saying,
on that one.
there's a difference between somebody saying, checking in, saying, hey, where we're at, I just haven't seen nothing. There's a difference between somebody doing that and going, I am owed this.
Yeah.
There
Right.
are two different things. And you say, I am owed this, I'm going to jump down your fucking throat.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
so
nobody is owed anything in this world.
I don't want to stay on this because I think we need to stay on this because I think people need to understand that when you do a project, you don't know what's going to happen. I have done in my lifetime 36 projects that were major projects.
Yeah.
Ready for this? 15 of them never made it past filming. They never even got into the edit phase.
Now, it could
They
be...
lost filming. They lost funding.
What about the story?
They fight. Oh, the
Maybe
story
somebody
was
just doesn't
sucked.
pick up the story.
Like they lost actors. Like, you guys want to see shit happen?
Deaths.
Look up IMDb in a year from now. See what fucking COVID did to projects in Hollywood. Like, Gemma is like struggling to keep one project going. Could you imagine being goddamn Sony right now and having 18 projects going, holy shit, I don't know how to keep this going?
Yeah.
But when you're an actor, you're like, but Gemma showed me some emails going, you owe the actors and myself this project to be done.
To a point, yes, but then you come at someone like that and you're starting to get insulting. Whether they meant it that way, I have no
Right.
idea. But you know that's not fair at all to anybody.
Well, then it's like,
Yeah.
why are you doing the project in the first place?
Oh, yeah,
If you're like expecting like you owe me this, why did you sign on for the project in the first place? Was it to?
Is she your relative? He's like, fucking mic drop. Marcus is over here going, yeah.
Like, you,
Jessica's my new girlfriend. Right here.
like, I sign up for projects because I love doing it. I can't
Yep.
stop it. So if I never see whatever happens, I did it and I got experience.
Mhm.
I mean, I would like to see it, of
Well,
course.
but you know, but
Right.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
but
no.
here's the difference in how you act, as opposed to how the individual that was a community theater person
Okay.
that was on the first project we worked on.
Mhm.
When Jamie was courted by a streaming network to do this show called Neighbors,
Mhm.
one of the first, like literally, ready for this? Marcus, you and Chris were first because that was in our mind. You were number 2. You were, we will make this project with this person because they are that good of an actor. So you may never see that project
Yeah.
that's on there,
Yeah.
but by God, you're going to be on another one.
I am happy because I
And that's-
enjoy the
yeah.
work.
But that's the thing. Like, when you were on set and you made that character, like, we still have like highlights. Gemma has highlights of you doing certain roles. Like, you had a scene where, I'm gonna paraphrase. I gotta try to stay clean with this, but the main character is being served
Mhm.
with a document from the courts, and you unload on this poor process server,
Mhm.
and you give him hell.
Yeah.
That's part of the freaking opening. That particular show is about ready to come out. Jim was like, no, that's got to happen. She's got to be in it. Like, you earned that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's where, like, we respect you. Like, you were so, like, we can't work, like, because of Corona and all the things that have been going on,
Mhm.
Jim's studio almost closed. Like, we're still she's still fighting to keep it going.
Mhm.
She said, no. I got Marcus. I got Chris. I got Jess. And there's, I could throw a handful of
Vic.
other names in this.
Mhm.
Yeah, Rick.
Vic.
People. Who?
Victoria.
Oh, Vicky. Yeah. I mean, we have so many names. Like, no. Jamie's like, no. I'm gonna fight for these people. And like, you're just so good at what you do. Like with Marcus. Marcus is given Gemma, like, Marcus gets kind of prima donna-ish when he talks about the when he talks about the score he's gonna make for her feature film. He does not fucking hold back. That's why I gave him the Hans Zimmer bullshit comment like an episode ago. I'm like, Hans Zimmer
it was
is
bullshit.
God. He's like, I will be Hans
You said
Zimmer.
it was bullshit. You better take that
No,
back.
it's not. But it's like, he's like, I will be Hans Zimmer. I'm like, all right, it's like, Hans Zimmer's bullshit. It's all right because he's like, ooh, I will do that. I mean,
Yeah.
people who love it and enjoy it and love what
Yeah.
they do, and I think that's the thing. If you get in this business and you think you're gonna make a living,
Then go somewhere else.
then do something else. We
'Cause
do
I
the,
mean,
yeah.
we do these shows. Everybody gets paid for in these podcasts with cheap alcohol.
Oh, I love cheap alcohol.
Cheap, but we're a bunch of cheap dates.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think it's been determined at
Yeah.
this point that in the entertainment industry, nobody is exempt from being an asshole.
No.
Mhm.
No.
Assholes come from every perspective, whether they're agents, directors, actors, models, photographers, audio engineers, and anything in between. Just don't be a dick. That's what it comes down to. Don't be a dick and don't trust anybody.
And don't
It's just such a just don't be an asshole. Like,
don't demean
love who
people.
you're working with, man.
Yeah, don't demean people. And
Right.
I just found it harder. And even though people are shitty to me, I hold myself at a higher.
She's so full of shit.
Well,
I
I can't
come
jump
on.
down someone's throat, but you know,
You know where I'm gonna go with this.
Professionally,
There was a character written about a queen who kills people, who's violent, and I cannot confirm or deny that she's sitting here next to me because for a reason. Because I have looked at you, who people have pushed your limits, and you went, "Look, little wannabe pimple piece of shit, go away. You didn't do this, but you were pushed this place. You had an actress. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there. I want you to take over the show after this because she's gonna lose her shit. She had an actress.
So she's about to go from 0 to Antichrist in
Yeah,
like
she's gonna
split
go
2
like-
seconds.
Yeah, she's gonna go from zero to a
The fan
freaking.
of the world, bitch.
Yeah, she's gonna go from like 0.
Enter
to
level 8 of Jumanji.
Yep.
Yes!
Yep. She's gonna go from 0 to a mass shooting in like one magazine. Okay, so she was interviewing online an actress who told her, "You don't know what it's like to work hard and discipline and sacrifice." Don't do it,
honey.
Don't do it, Mark.
Hunty.
Hold on, Mark. Wait for it, Marcus. And so here is the woman reading this, who lived in a garage with no toilet and no running water for 2.5 years, whose husband almost died, and she's like taking out his vomit, and she gets this text from this actress: "Gemma, would you please enlighten us on your retort?"
Well, I'm actually trying to find that.
She's
Right.
looking it up. Do you have it?
Yeah, I keep all that.
Save that shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Why wouldn't you? I mean, and because something can get turned around so bad.
The statute of limitations is 7 years, so.
We're within one, so wait for it to happen.
I just keep on getting phones with more storage.
Yeah. You ain't shitting, man.
Do you really still have this email?
I think so.
You can search by the name.
I wouldn't even know what to say to that, honestly. I wouldn't know how to respond.
That's how I
Yeah.
was. I had to stand up and go outside. I'm like,
Yeah, no.
you fucking
Yeah.
piece of shit.
It was last
No.
year, wasn't it?
The first sentence would have most likely been "bitch, please." That's usually, well, that's probably where I would have gone.
I had a moment like that with a person who was complaining. They were just there.
On Loco?
No.
Oh.
It was just like I was just out, and I was out with friends, and this friend of a friend came, and they were complaining about how stressful something was, and I had just got back from my daughter's open heart surgery.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, yeah, let's complain about this.
Oh shit.
And they were complaining about their kids, and I'm like, yeah, you don't fucking just like shut the fuck up. Like,
I'm going
You
to
know,
kill
Jessica?
you. Yeah, and over the years I've gotten a lot better about being professional. I try not to cuss now if I'm going to give my point across.
Keyword there, try.
Try.
I
The Icelandic queen going, I will not defame you.
I was talking to this particular person
But
for,
maim you, maybe.
Yeah. I was talking to this particular person for several weeks, on and off. Hey, would you be interested? Yeah, right? Couldn't contact her for weeks. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know, shooting her emails and, you know, shooting her character breakdown and stuff like that. And she's like, hey, I thought I would reach out, you know, on here. I'm having a lot of issues with scheduling around work for this upcoming weekend shoot. Not to mention finding an appropriate outfit, which I did send her outfit ideas.
Mhm.
Things have been pretty hectic for me, and I definitely am going to have to work the 12th. I haven't heard back about having the 10th off. I've got my weekends confused for my work schedule. I've been reading over the script and started to wonder if I can even put in the time and attention for this specific character. Mind you, this is 4 or 5 days before the actual filming.
Was this we filmed?
And you guys had already been talking for a few weeks
Yes.
at this point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's like.
So there was
Yeah.
plenty of room
Was
for
this
this stuff to
before
have
that-
already
Yes.
come out.
Was this that funeral scene?
I think
The
so.
big, the 65 women
Yeah.
on set.
Yeah.
We're dealing
Oh,
with
that scene.
65,
Yeah.
We're dealing with 65 women on
Okay.
set at a time.
She's
So
like,
this
I-
is right when I was entering
Yep.
into
Yes.
working with you guys.
Yep.
Okay.
She's like, I don't. I can put in. She says, I wonder if I can even put in the time and attention that specific character deserves. I don't want to hold up the movie, and I certainly don't want to be a burden on anyone. So I was like, so let me get this straight. You had this script for several weeks now. We gave you a character breakdown, and now 5 days to filming, coming to the director and CEO of the company and say what you just said to me. You need to contact your agent and tell her what you just told me. So she did.
Is
And
this
then-
agent said agent?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think she was also dropped, if I remember correctly.
Yep, she was
Okay.
dropped. I get to give that agent that
And she
opportunity.
said several weeks. I've had the emails dated. It was sent to me July 26th. And honestly, I messaged you to try and find a way we could work through this or figure something out, which I couldn't get a hold of her. I, would text her, and then, hey, give her, some leeway. And I wouldn't hear back from her for days.
Yeah.
And she gave me the excuse of, I work nights because she was working at a casino at the time. I get it. Totally get it. Well, then hit me up the next morning or an email. Whatever.
Right.
If you wanted to do this, you would
You're
have
gonna
tried
make
to
it
at
happen.
least contact me, whatever. So she's like, figure something out. I just saw my work schedule the other day and I haven't heard, and it most likely will get approved. I didn't intend for my message to reach you so late. I just thought I would let you know that I just found out the other day that my work schedule changed and it was conflict of that. What I was hoping would happen, and you would be able to tell me what specific dates from here on out for the entirety of the filming that you would need me there so I can make sure that I have those days off, which totally legit. I get it.
Right, but that's something that should have been said from the beginning of the
Agreed.
conversation, not after they've
Yeah.
already gotten the part, been given the character description, and already gone way beyond that.
And we do our best to give 2 or 3 weeks notice, and we had talked before, and she wanted to do it on the fly.
Right.
We told her I apologize for reaching out to you so late, but this is what we got going on.
Well, and especially with this project, there were so many
But that's not
legalities
real.
and so many things
If
that you
you
guys
were-
had to
if
watch
you're
for.
if you're on call on a project that was studio, you got 24 hours notice.
Yeah.
Gemma is willing to go, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 weeks to help you out with your day job because I'm trying to help you. Continue.
So, anyways, it says what I was hoping would happen you would be able to tell me what specific dates from here on out for the entirety of the film. Not only that, but I am not a designer. I don't have a closet full of costumes. I don't have the first thing about outfits in the meeting you guys and I had missed, and I was told that I would get caught up, but I haven't been caught up on anything. Obviously, I could reach out to someone for help with an outfit, but as I said, it's been a struggle to reach anyone since the last week, which I have, messages to
She
back
never
it up
showed
that
up
I
to any of the-
contacted her throughout the week
And she'd
to
never
kinda let her
showed
know.
up to any of the.
She missed it.
Yeah, she missed
And
every
she
one of the
admitted
meetings.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I heard. It's like,
Obviously, I could reach out to someone for help with an outfit, but as I said, it's been a struggle to reach and get a hold of anyone. I would message you directly or I worked overtime, and so I thought I would message you directly for help, which I had sent her things way before to help
Right.
her out, and she didn't ask for
Which, okay,
anything
hold on.
like that at all.
Marcus, you can attest to this. A director never does that. A director never goes, here, let me help you. Let me give you something that will help you out.
So she's
Right.
like,
that
didn't
never happens.
She's like, didn't intend for this mess or misunderstanding, and certainly wasn't intending to get such an aggressive and upsetting reply back, which I thought it was quite nice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
am just one girl.
this individual is lucky that you said what you said to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can be quite an a-hole. Aggressive and upsetting reply back. I'm just one girl that has never acted before ever, which we knew that, and I totally was, and messages
That
back
doesn't
it up that
make
I
it
was
an
doesn't
okay.
mean, doesn't mean
excuse,
shit.
though.
Nope.
That doesn't mean a
And
damn
I was
thing.
totally okay.
You,
We understood that.
Yeah.
You
you know,
auditioned.
But you're being,
You got the job.
you're being an asshole about
Shut
it.
up.
Right.
Acted before ever, let alone design my entire own costume for a film. Okay.
Is this you?
Yes.
Hold on. You gotta hear this. Me.
Okay. You said you worked late and couldn't keep up on what's on the WhatsApp app, and I explained everything. So what I did is I reiterated what was done and what she didn't do.
Right.
So, this is me.
At this point, you still have like 20 women that are showing up, ready to rock.
Yeah.
They shall show up.
Also women who had no previous experience.
There you
mind
go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'll read the last sentence.
Okay.
I am just one girl that has never acted before ever, let alone designed my entire own costume for a film. So, this is me, and I reiterate everything.
Jessica, are you like laughing like?
So
Nothing but
In other words,
excuses.
You did like.
I reiterate everything. So hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Who the
Okay.
phone?
This is me.
She's gonna go.
You said you worked late and couldn't keep up on the WhatsApp, so I sent it through here. On the WhatsApp, you stated everything and what you had questions about, I did answer. If you still didn't understand, then you should have contacted me a lot more often through here or the WhatsApp or asked me to clarify. That is on you. I cannot read minds. I sent you character breakdown and several others as well. Everyone received the scripts the same day you did. I understand that you have never acted before. A lot of other women that have not either. They contact me on a daily basis and they have the professional courtesy to never not ask a question. You have been hard to get a hold of because of your job, which is fine. But if you truly wanted to submerge yourself in this, you would do your damnedest to keep in contact constantly. I do not mind. Are we crazy busy? Yes. Do I have people to help explain what I need and want? Yes. We need committed people, not maybe and what ifs. There are single mothers who are actresses of ours that are struggling. There are several other women who have it worse that are busting their butt to get behind this film. So tell me how is fair to let you slide while everyone else is killing themselves to make this happen regardless of their situation. That's the thing. I'm not going to let it slide. These other women depend on me to lead them in the right direction and lead them accordingly. We as a company have moved forward with another actress. I have already let your agent know of our decision. This is her.
Oh.
Okay, that's fine with me. I wasn't looking to argue. I take responsibility for my inability to have a flexible enough schedule or full understand of all the responsibilities I would have during this production, which she did know that this was going to be a main character. As I said a week ago,
Was
my
that
situation...
her or her agent's fault?
I don't know.
At
There's
this
two
point,
sides to
who
every
knows?
story.
You
Yep.
and I, you know what we're
No,
talking about.
I
Right.
you specifically told her that this was
Yep.
that this was a main role.
Right.
As I said, I take
This is her, right?
responsibility. Yeah,
So-
this is her. This is a long one. I take responsibility for my inability to have a flexible enough schedule or full understand of all responsibilities I would have during this production. As I said a week ago, my situation was much different, and as things progressed, I started to see that more was expected of my participation than assumed, and that piled work and other personal situations that arose put me in a situation where I had to prioritize. I didn't mean to put you in a tight spot, but also my job and my health are a priority. I have become overextended over the past 2 weeks, and I thought I was showing your production respect and letting you know that the role deserved to be with someone much more flexible with their time. But also, to be clear, my actions are in no way reflect my agent. I have
Yes, they do.
never signed with a company. I participated in an open audition. I do apologize for this position this put you in, but it definitely became apparent to me that the performers hold a great deal more responsibility in design, time flexibility, and dress than I thought. Sorry for the confusion, but I am lacking in time, and it's appropriate to say I didn't feel comfortable prioritizing a production that I wasn't even sure of what days even moving forward my presence would be required. Wasn't even asking for you to let slide. Thanks for your time. This is also her. Also, not to exacerbate the issue here, but it sounds relatively aggressive for you to say that you have struggling actresses busting their butts behind this production. I can totally appreciate and understand that, and I commend them, but that's not okay for you to try and assume that this outcome wasn't a struggle for me and that I am not struggling in my own right.
Oh, you just fucked up.
The movie,
girl.
as I said, was just not something I guess I could prioritize. I need the money, I need overtime at work, and I need to make sure my life remains in working order. Okay, it gets better. I apologize again that I was late to inform you, and I apologize that I couldn't give your production the respect and time that I needed from me. So, that being said, I don't normally push this in people's faces because everybody has some hardship in their life. I get it. Mine
Right.
is not more important than anybody else.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
This is me. And she never replied after this. Do you have any idea how I've lived for the past 3 years of my life? with no running water, a porta potty, and a garage to make films. So don't you dare tell me about struggle. I get it. What I am saying is you said you were sure about this project. I know that can change, but what I am mad about is it's 5 days before filming. So don't talk to me about how life goes. Take ownership and admit that you got in over your head. I truly do appreciate saying that this character deserves someone you can put the time in. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for your time. Thank you for admitting that you are not fit for this character. That I commend you for. You're not the only one who has done this in this production, and you're not the last. Good luck. So I'm pretty sure that was the most professional thing I've ever done, because normally I'm a complete asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think that is definitely a conversation to leave the audience open for their own interpretation for.
It's you got to be down that road.
Okay.
So on that note, I don't know what we're going to talk about in the next show because there's been so much stuff going on. But I'm going to say adieu.
Mm-hmm.
I'm JMR. It is
Gemma Ray.
Gemma Ray, the CEO, owner, Studio ODA 406. And we have with us...
Jessica fucking Johnson.
Oh, it's not Jessica motherfucking Johnson.
Oh,
Jessica
Jessica
Johnson,
motherfucking Johnson.
who's now a just completely everyday player on Off the Wall with
Yours truly,
producer and amazing individual,
Marcus Herzog.
Marcus. Oh,
Yeah.
he's so beautiful. Don't even enjoy it. And I'm JMR. Hey, folks, we're going to see you next time. And if you have anything you guys want us to talk about, hey, you may not like it, but we're going to tell you from our experience. And we don't even know who we're going to have on as a guest from here on out. But thank you for joining us. And
On Off the Wall.
on off.
Peace.